Hello everyone. A number of weeks ago, my wife and I, we had bought a 2008 Toyota Sienna, and one of the things that we had found out with it was the radio and CD player that comes with this unit had a bit of a problem with the display actually cutting in and out, and when it would cut out, you'd have the volume work, but the tuning would work, but none of the other functions and buttons or anything like that would work on it, only when it actually, when the display was on. So one of the things that it just kind of made me suspicious, and when I looked up on the internet, there were a lot of forums talking about the same issue, and it seems to be a very common problem with the early generation Toyotas after either say about a year or a number of months even. And one of the things that I noticed was I found that if I pressed on the faceplate around about here, I noticed that the display would actually either flicker or it would come back up. So to me it seemed like there was a bit of a connection problem, but I wasn't sure. Like, I had no idea how this thing was designed, and so I didn't know how it went together or anything like that. There seemed to be a number of videos on how to take the radio out of the dash of the Toyota, but nothing on how to actually fix it. So I went to a local electronics automotive repair shop, and they said that it would be $80 to take the radio out, and then it would be the cost of whatever it would be to fix it in order to have it put back in. Naturally, being a bit of a handyman and fix-it-yourself kind of guy, I thought that was a bit excessive. So I thought, well, there had to be a way around that, and I figured, or at least I would have a chance to look at it and see what was actually behind there. So one of the things I went to Canadian Tire, and I bought this E2 car stereo toolkit, because the main thing that I really wanted out of it was just this particular pry bar that is in the kit itself, in order to take this cover off and this cover off and this top cover in order to remove the console. So anyway, this particular kit cost about $25 in tax. So I figured didn't really have a whole lot to lose in using something like that. So there are a lot of videos already on how to remove it, so I'm not going to go step by step through that. I'm just going to simply take it out and show you what I've done. And when I take it into the house, then I'll see, just show you what I did that seemed to actually be a proper repair for it, and it seems to be working fine since then. So I'm just doing the video now to actually show you how it's done. So, seeing as how the place that I touched where it seemed that the display would come back on was around here in this area, I figured when I turned it around and looked at it on the side, really what had to be done was to separate this whole front part of the radio face from the main radio body itself over here. And that is done by these 3 screws on the right side, 3 similar screws on the opposite side, and there are 2 little tiny Phillips screws here and 1 over there. Then after you get those off, there are little tabs, 4 on the top here, 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 and on the underside there are similar 4 tabs here, 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 and here. So that's what we're going to do now, and actually work on separating the front and back, take the faceplate off of the main body of the radio. So now the two halves, it's removed, and in that spot where I touched on, you can see that there is this plug here that connects the main body to this actual front faceplate. So you can see, after I remove the body, you can see that there's a connector here, and you can see its mating pin over here on the faceplate portion of the radio. So I kind of looked at it, and this particular connector here only has just like little pins on it, and they seem to kind of sort of push into here, but I noticed that there seemed to be a bit of corrosion and whatnot. So really, all I did with it was just use a very small safety pin, and I just kind of did a small, just kind of stuck it down in there and just pricked them, just pulled them a tiny little bit, just to get them lifted off a bit. Added a little bit of contact cleaner, spray wash, into there. Let it dry. Now the other thing I wasn't sure of 100% was there was also a little contact pad right about here where there almost seems to be a tiny little bit of glue or something like that. So this little tab here so as you can see, I just sprayed it a little bit just to make sure that if there's any residual gumminess or anything like that, that it would be off of there. And once that was done and I put it back together, everything seemed just fine. The radio worked properly, the CD player worked fine, and the display has not turned off at all. It stays on all the time, so I'm sure it'll be good for another number of years. So that is my contribution towards the Toyota Sienna radio panel fix. I think that's really all it is.